We continue our Sunday manga coverage, and as always, my hero reaction, and now my hero review. So let's get started here. What other the Brotakus think about this chapter? Was it good, bad, and our full coverage of the arc? Let's see how it goes, guys. Welcome, Anime Lily fans. How you guys doing? LegendDVash as always. SamTheMangaMan down below. The King of Games verified. RayApollo down right him next to him is the JBXclusive with the nicest fade cut here for ready for Christmas and everything. How we all doing?
Doing
Bro,
great, man.
I feel great. This arc, mwah, so damn good.
This year for My Hero Academia, very good.
Very good year for My Hero Academia.
Can we all already definitely agree manga of the year for this one? This arc alone for this?
For me personally, in Shonen Jump,
Jump?
It depends
Shonen
on
Jump,
yes.
Yeah, Shonen Jump, yeah. I mean, and it's also as me, and this is a caveat, as me not being caught up on One Piece. Yes, this is my manga of the year for Shonen Jump.
Shonen Jump, yeah, just Shonen Jump.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, this is the last chapter of 2020. Is taking a week break, so we'll be back here on January 3rd for our Sunday coverage of mangas. So we'll be back here for Black Clover. There is no Black Clover coverage today. The team, there's not a lot of things to talk about. So just so you guys know, we'll be talking about that next week.
I mean, so what we talked about basically with Black Clover, we're gonna basically keep them. We're gonna pair them up every 2 weeks. So there'll be 2 chapters for every episode that we cover Black Clover, unless something
Big
incredible happens. Yeah,
correct.
So that's what that's gonna be like.
That is the full roster. And me and Sam spoke about that we will be doing chapter 1000 when it comes out on January 3rd as well, because we haven't done One Piece in a very long time. But for that chapter, we will do it for, because it's definitely hype for it. But let's get straight to it. James, Ray, as always, what did you guys think about it?
I want to defer to James to start.
Yeah,
James, go.
I thought this was a good chapter to end the year, like especially what we see in that final page. But going right back to the beginning, where we see Deku waking up, we finally get a glimpse of what the 4th user of One for All, of what his quirk can do, which is pretty much a spider sense, which is something that Ray called out like weeks ago. So that was really, really cool to think that this is yet another quirk that Deku can use in his arsenal. This danger sense will increase his reflexes, combined with his super strength using Float Black Whip to maneuver. This is making him even more unstoppable, which begs the question, how great are these villains going to be going forward with all of these upgrades that the heroes are getting? So that's one of the biggest things that I took away from this chapter is what's next, because this chapter solidifies that All for One will continue trying to get Shigaraki to 100%. So this also leads me to believe that I think the Doctor is going to escape and Shigaraki is going to get to 100%, and then he'll be able to use all of the power of One for All, and then we'll see where it all goes from there. But this is a very, very important chapter for a lot of reasons, and we'll get into it. But Ray, what did you think?
For a lot of the things you just said, yes, I'm so happy that Deku got a spider sense, because when we were talking about how is he going to combat All for One with like decay also in tandem, this is it. Because now if he trains up right, he won't be able to be touched like physically. He won't be able to touch him, which is amazing. I love that, because we're all like, how is he going to fight that? Yeah, he can fly now, but how is he going to fight it now?
Exactly.
Oh man, that's going to be a beautiful fight when that happens. But so like you just said, he is going to go off and become the perfect version of the body needed for the quirk. But we also now get to see the battle of the mind for the quirk. That's what I'm excited to see, because I don't know if Shigaraki doesn't want All for One to take over his body. He don't want that. We know this. But All for One's like, nah, bro. This is all part of the plan. This is a symbiotic relationship, he said. This is the worst version of Eddie Brock and the symbiote we've ever seen.
Yes. To add to that thought that you just said, I love how so many Spider-Man reference about symbiote, the Spidey sense, is coming up and bringing up to the story, and how much of the reference of the character, and how Hori throughout the years has said that he takes homage to the Marvel comics, to the Western comics there, and it shows it, because Spidey sense originally came from Spider-Man, and I love that concept for it.
I mean, yeah, we've seen these influences throughout the entire series, like of how much he loves Western comics. And to me that's what helped me fall in love with My Hero Academia so much faster than any other manga, is because it's so related to what I grew up with, which is these Western comics.
Yeah.
And so what I said, I would. I love the fact that there are so many pieces that he just put on the board, but there's so many pieces that he just took off the board at the same time.
Yeah.
With Deku becoming, like, it's going to basically be all right, it's trading arc time for both Shiki and Deku, essentially. They both are going to go off and but their respective groups are going to basically work to make them better, because now it's like, well, we need to be stronger than what we just saw from both ends. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the doctor's already escaped. I'll be very honest. Remember that panel we saw with President Mike running? I'm pretty sure Doctor's already been taken back by Anomu. So they have him to, basically fix his body, because we all knew that he wasn't finished. So he's got to finish that work to actually make it happen. But I'm like, well, the league now has to, because I'm going to keep calling it the league, because the league now has decided they're just going to be the league, at least from my perspective, that they're going to go and get the resources that they need from the Paranormal Liberation Front. They're going to build up again, train these folks, and then potentially grab some other users to break their friends out of prison, because now, guess who's going to jail? Makia. And they're going to want him back at some point. So
they did have left him to like, hey, we'll come back for you.
All for One said, hey, you effed up. This is your punishment for effing up when I gave you everything you needed. And he said, so I'm leaving your friend to die, and I'm leaving one of your best weapons to get captured. You're going to have to figure out how to get them back. So I'm like, yo, that's cold-blooded, but also makes so much sense. Much sense.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? I don't know if we'll see Makia again. I'm not saying that definitively, but there is something in me that thinks we'll never see Makia on the battlefield again. Because moving from here, with Shigaraki going to 100%, going into a completely new training arc for both sides, what is Makia's purpose at that point? Because if Shigaraki's at 100%, and even if All For One takes over his body, which is what I think All For One's plan is to begin with, what's the purpose of Makia? So that's just something wild that I thought about when I read the chapter.
So counterpoint, what was the purpose of Makia when he was with All For One then? You know what I'm saying? He had him for a reason.
I mean, because All For One needed him as a backup, because All For One was broken and beaten from.
I don't think he had him as a backup. I think he wanted to have him because he knows how much destruction he can. Like, he can create so much more destruction, like in such a wider scale. Like, you have a weapon like that for a reason, to make a statement. And if he wants to make another statement, they're going to give Makia back.
And but the way I see it, that Makia probably was his spinner version. Like, he was the heart to his type of league in the beginning. Maybe perhaps in that aspect.
He was basically a dog, like
Makima.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, hey, go do this for me. That's why he calls him. That's why he calls him master. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's more of a he just did what he wanted him to do.
True.
So,
and plus it was the original Nomu. He was the patient zero of Nomu's too. I mean,
and plus we still got to learn about who Makia is and why he exists. Like, that's still something we got to know. To be completely honest,
we'll find out in Vigilantes for more of Makia.
You think so?
In My Hero Vigilantes, we'll learn more about it for sure.
Okay.
But Sam, what's your overall thoughts right now with this chapter overall?
I think it was really good. Honestly, it was a great way to end this entire arc. If this is the set end, like, we don't know if like 2 weeks from now there's another break or epilogue of a recap of everything else that's everybody's salvaging up what's left of whoever they can have saved, how much they think it's going to happen. Most likely a news reporter is going to be like going helicopters, going report of what's the last of everything and stuff like that. We have captured the destruction of all the cities, but we have failed to capture the main villain of them all. Plus, our favorite number one hero, all his dirty sheets is literally out in the open. What's left for the people? What can the people? How is the people going to be feeling? How it's going to be seeing? It's all going to be paparazzi that's been going on. Everybody's going to heal. Bakugo even, like, he finally knocked out. We saw his fangs in his face. He's knocked out for sure.
Well, I mean, he'd already lost. He had taken critical wounds and then
And-
decided to still fight. So he pushed himself a little too far, and I feel like he's gonna realize that when he gets, healed up. It's like, hey, yeah, maybe I did a little too much, but so did Deku. These kids about to be out of commission for a little while, because they took a lot of damage.
So since we're on the topic, let's talk about what is our quick predictions of when we come back in 2 weeks. Like, do you think there'll be a full epilogue of a recap what happened, of where's like the aftermath, Hawks and everything? Because I think we need to have the dirty sheets of what happened with Endeavor, but also to know what is his side of the story. Like for him to also sit in front of the news reporter, because this will be an awkward conversation. Aizawa again in front of the news reporter when he's already lost a leg, lost some parts, like he's just down, and for him to go in front of the whole news reporter again, like round 2, that's a lot of work too.
The thing is, he might have the chance to defend himself if he's actually needs to heal, like he's recuperating wherever the hospital that needs to go. Like the media can spread whatever they want into him, and how he might not be able to defend himself in the public, in the media and stuff like that though.
Nah, I think they have to. Like, they have to make a statement. I mean,
Yeah,
they can come out in wheelchairs, but they have to make a statement. There's way too many accusations that will destroy the system. Like, they have to make statements.
So with Endeavor, I think that he's just going to kind of nut up and be like, hey, I effed up. I was a terrible person, but I am here to do my job as the #1 hero, and I'm going to keep doing it like I did out there. And now is my job to save my son, essentially. He knows that Toya is alive, and he's going to do whatever he can to save Toya, because now he has a second chance, which you don't get. This is the actual second chance that he wanted, is what I'm pretty sure. Now he can try and save his son. And so, yeah, he's gonna take all the criticism, and he's gonna be like, I understand that. I was that person. I'm no longer that person, but I'm still gonna do my job as the #1 hero. Like, I'm not gonna quit.
I hope
some people will.
Powerful.
Yes, I think some people will turn against him.
Oh,
absolutely. There will be a lot of people that will be on his side. It's like, oh yeah, these people are heroes that we glorify, but they're still human beings. We all make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, of course, his mistakes have a bigger impact.
His mistakes were terrible. Yes.
Yeah, but he's still just a human being that made a mistake, and he has to make that statement to let people know. Like Ray said, I know I effed up, but I am going to do absolutely everything in my power to fix it, and I will get my son back.
And I think he knows that he can't fix what he did. It's just that he knows that he still has a job to do as the #1 hero, and that's what he's going to focus on. I am a hero here to help people. He's risked his life and limb multiple times for all these people, and that's what he does. Like, he knows this, and I feel like some people will see that and be like, hey, we saw him fighting that Nomu on TV. Like we saw what happened, and so I feel like people will be like, yeah, you suck, but I guess, you're all we got, essentially.
What I'm curious about is what's going to happen to Hawk's story. What's going to happen to his character that people assume or think that he killed twice.
Hawks is the fall guy.
That's what I'm curious to know. Is the government going to put all the blame on him and put him, and he's going to work fully on the shadows now? That's what I'm curious to know.
Yeah, because like their government does not want to be exposed or the people to know about them and their section and who their agents and people are and that sort of thing. Because who knows, Hawks is probably not the only one that is playing a double agents. They could actually have other people within other organizations in that sort of way. They can't have that exposed to the public,
so
or else they can be killed.
Quick theory for y'all.
What's up?
So Horikoshi's a big fan of Spider-Man. One of the worst things to ever happen to Spider-Man was his secret identity getting out there. What if they decide to leak the information about One for All?
One for All?
What information specifically do you mean?
About what it is, and that All Might didn't have a quirk before either. And so that quirk basically is what made their #1 hero what he is, and now it's with this kid.
And there's gonna be some people against Deku saying, "Why did you give it to a kid where like he?"
Not against Deku, they'll be against All Might.
Yeah, they'd be going to All Might.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
My question is, why wouldn't All for One reveal it earlier?
Because he didn't have to. Because he was real confident that he was just gonna be able to take it. That's why.
Yeah.
And now he knows that this kid can use all the quirks in it. He's like, oh, okay, well, let me make your life a living hell since, you know, I can't physically beat you right now. I'm going to try and beat you mentally and spiritually first and then come beat you physically.
I like that. I like that theory a lot right now because technically right now, Rocklock, Aizawa, Endeavor, all of them have questions from seeing what happened right now. So instead of them asking a question, how about the whole society of Japan finding out and said, like, make that small scale as a bigger scale?
And this is just a theory. I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's just like, it's a possibility.
Oh yeah, it's definitely interesting because there's so many things that could come out of that. Like, how would the public feel about that? How would the Hero Society feel
exactly?
About that?
How would Hero Society feel about it? And then
because the Hero Society could say, "Well, All Might, why didn't you give this power to one of the pro heroes that had the greater potential to be number one?" And then we wouldn't have all of this destruction because a greater hero could have all of these powers. Like, you bring up a really good point, dude. It could go a lot of different ways.
It never slandered the entire time. We still see him as the pedestal of what a number one hero should be. But that slander and that theory and actually having that let that out, that would really hurt All Might's credit. So everything.
I like what you said because Pedro said it too. I thought you were gonna bring two things when you say about Spider-Man lore. Are they gonna bring up the Gwen Stacy thing or the Green Goblin type of scenario?
I feel like the worst thing that ever happened to him was his secret identity getting out because that was his worst nightmare, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see
that
what
would
the
ruin his mom.
I don't see what the equivalent of Gwen Stacy dying would be, but the whole Harry situation, like him having like a best friend that's somewhat turned evil, like that would be interesting. But I feel like they had the opportunity to do that with Bakugo
a long time ago.
Yeah, they did.
I feel like Horikoshi, he did that. He teased that, and then he said, "No, Bakugo's not like that." When he got kidnapped in the camp arc, so yeah, that's not gonna happen.
But
he ain't sauce. Get out of here.
But
also to. Go ahead, Miguel.
What I was gonna say is that I like the concept because of what you're saying. When his identity got revealed in the comics, his aunt, May and everything, that damaged her a lot because that also could affect Deku's mom and her finding out that he never truly did have a quirk originally. It's just that he actually got a quirk from his biggest fan of All Might. So that could also damage her a lot and give her more anxiety and stuff. Like, wait, he's just actually been going out to field by using somebody else's quirk, and that could also affect his mom a lot.
I think his mom knows though.
Mom knows.
That's literally like she birthed him. She was like, "Ain't no way you got these quirks from me." You obviously got these from somebody else. His mom ain't know.
Like Black Web, Super Strength. Like, where did this came from?
Let's be real. Your mom always knows, bro. She knows.
Yeah. Her mom and Deku in their own home, and he's like, "I'm so sorry, I'm gonna like that." I think she knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah,
but that's just a theory. But like, so back to like the aftermath. I feel like this aftermath arc is going to bring up a lot. It's going to be a lot of questions that are going to be answered for us. I think about society and about the Hero Society as well. Like, the Hero Association has to answer for a lot of what just happened. Not the heroes, but the association. It's like because they also knew about this. They knew. I mean, not about All for One and One for All, but like they knew what was happening here. They knew about Hawks. They sent Hawks in there purposefully to do this. They helped Hawks do it. So I'm really curious to see what the public does in response to them finding out about the greater hero scheme at large. Because that's a lot of dirty laundry out there. A lot. So this is why I really do think that we get the World Hero Association showing up to be like, hey, y'all messing up real bad. What's happening here? And they kind of do an investigation or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Agreed completely. I think that's definitely going to happen. Pedro, to answer one of your other questions from earlier, I don't think this is the end of academia. I think they need these schools more than ever to shape the minds of young people, because from everything that's happened, everybody in the league, I personally feel like, had the potential to be saved if the Hero Society and if academia was different. So I do think there's going to be a reform of how everything works, but I don't think there can be an end to academia. It has to continue.
So do you guys want to discuss that? Because I was going to save that for Wednesday's show about John Festa, because he came out saying that My Hero will be ending soon. What do you guys want to discuss that now fully, or wait for Wednesday to talk about John Festa?
Let's wait for the main show.
Yeah, let's wait for the main show, because that's a main show topic for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting concept of where academia could end, but that's something that depends where this epilogue story and how the reporters, how Society of Japan handles it. Then from there, we can know for more information, because it's hard to predict if academia could end. That just could
That's-
go either way.
See, that's the thing though. That's how you fail the students. That's how you fail future students. That's how you fail the
Because
world.
how do you teach it
by-
was right or wrong?
Exactly. If you end academia, it will be your fault. If the villains win, it will be society's fault. You cannot end academia because you have to continue to shape the minds of everyone, dude. Like you have these events of this arc further proves that we need academia. All of these people, if we did more, maybe they wouldn't have become villains. If we did more, maybe we could have seen this coming. We have to do more for the community, for the students, for everyone. So no, I don't think academia can go anywhere.
This man spitting. Tell him, James. Because I mean, knowledge is what makes the difference. The more you teach people, the less likely you are to have these issues. But I mean, and not just the people, it's also the society. Society has to learn to accept people with these outrageous quirks and abilities and learn how to work with them, not cast them out because they're so far different from what we perceive to be the right, versus the wrong. Remember, exactly. they talk about it in Vigilantes. They set the line of what made a hero and what did make a hero. And so some people who were operating as heroes, all of a sudden were villains because of where they set the line. And that wasn't their choice. They were made villains.
Exactly. Gentle. He technically could have been a hero.
I mean, Gentle could have been a hero. It's just that the system failed him, is what it was. Exactly. And that's what it was about.
That's but
real quick. Did you want to bring up something, Vash?
I was gonna bring up the question that was there about do we think Shiggy will kill All For One in the mind? Like, would that be one arc? Because they asked that. Would that be one arc that we want to see next? That they would be fighting each other, or with the type of Venom type of fight of like who takes control of the body, who will be the one controlling it, like who will kick who out over the body?
So this is partially what I was literally just about to bring up. So that's awesome that you brought this up. So I was gonna bring up the great evil All For One, right? I love Horikoshi's use of the word symbiotic relationship, Beautiful. The word symbiotic relationship in this, because how symbiotes work over time, the longer they stay a part of the host, they will take over. So what will happen? How will Shigaraki combat All For One? Because All For One is now Shigaraki's antagonist. Because I was saying this in our private chat in Messenger, I think that All For One never actually saw Shigaraki as his successor. He was just building up Shigaraki to be a new body for him to transfer his consciousness and all of his powers into, to defeat every other incarnation of One For All that would come around. So that's what I think. All For One's plan is to slowly use Shigaraki's hatred to completely take him over. So what I would love to see is at some point All For One does succeed in completely taking over Shigaraki's consciousness, but then later on having Shigaraki fight back and completely decay All For One from his mind.
I definitely can see that for sure, because I could definitely see like when the moments that you have some good friends, fellas, like allies within you, meaning he knows more of Shigaraki's kind of weaknesses. Because when we just discussed, Spinner sees Shigaraki as his friend. What happens if All For One takes away his friends and stuff like that to break him even more? And that brings up the whole theory. So this was All For One's plan this whole entire time, to break Shigaraki, make him grow through hate, so that one day, slowly, eventually, take over his body to just possess him in a symbiotic kind of way.
It's kind of like that saying is, you build a person up, you give them friends, you give them love, and then you strip all that away so they could have hatred and how they say the more hatred, the more angry you have, the more powerful you are, because it is the type of flip side of a coin. Like love and hate, they're both side by side. They're both Makima in a way. Is technically what I was not trying to spoil that part. That's why I was trying to not get there, because that's exactly what she did with Denji. But let's not get into that. But like I said, Sam was guiding me, and I said I'm not gonna say anything to that.
You didn't have to explain what that further is.
Anyway, before Ray says, "Hey, Miguel, shut up." So
anyway, I swear to God, I can't take you nowhere.
I'm moving on. So I like what All For One did. Sorry, One For All did. I'm sorry, All For One did exactly what James said, and it's very sadistic. but it shows that he technically built his own successor down the line, because that's what he was raising him, feeding him, and everything, get him to where he wanted to be. And it's insane because he was planning this from the start, but it shows that he was finding that person to work, and this was a plan to look for the successor of All Might to get his grandchild of it, and that's insane.
So there's a very important line that All for One delivers before he kind of leads up to that version of the symbiotic relationship. He says, "Heart is power." Essentially, the more hatred he has in his heart, the more powerful All for One becomes. And we've already seen that point of no return for Shigaraki, but I feel like this is where Horikoshi is going to break that cycle. Because when Shigaraki learns about everything that he did to him, because we all know that All for One orchestrated everything that's happened to Shigaraki.
Correct.
Like, I can't wait for him to reveal to him that everything that's happened to him was all his fault. And it wasn't his family because they hated it. It's all his fault. When he finds that out, I do truly feel like he starts to have kind of like this change of heart, kind of like the Ben Skywalker deal, which will be very, very cool to see. I'm really excited to see what Horikoshi does with Shigaraki, because Shigaraki is a fantastic character that he can do some really cool stuff with. As much as I love Deku, Shigaraki has the chance to become one of the best characters in manga, period.
Facts.
I agree.
I feel like All for One will pull that trigger at the moment where he finally takes over him completely.
I don't think Shigaraki will become the Carnage where he takes over completely and have the Carnage type of symbiote style. I think
more like
I think
where he's inside, but it's just that final push to drive Shigaraki so angry into hate that All for One would use that to take over, to completely take over from that point.
With that story perspective, I see it more as the Venom, where he will fight against that instead of the Carnage route. Like in that story, I see that more. In that aspect, I see it more in the Venom route we're going for instead of Carnage. Because we've seen the Carnage, that means that's literally going to repeat the story of where All for One versus Deku, the next predecessor. But I think we're kind of leading up to the next successor, aka Shigaraki versus Deku, the two next successors of each of the predecessors of their own.
Yeah, the Venom comparison works more because the difference with Carnage is Carnage and Cletus. Is it Cletus Cassidy? Yeah. Is it his first name Cletus? I can't remember.
I think it's Cletus.
I think
it's something Cassidy. But it's the difference with Carnage is that the symbiote and Cassidy, their mindsets were exactly the same. So there was nothing for the symbiote to take over because their mindsets were literally exactly the same. But with Venom, the Venom symbiote is constantly trying to take over Eddie. So I think that comparison is a little closer to what we're dealing with. But something that I want to talk about real quick is I thought that Toya would have been captured for sure. But now we know that Toya escapes. So this makes it way more interesting for me, because I feel like this has the potential for Shoto and NG to become closer or tear them apart even more. So it's going to be interesting to me to see which way Shigaraki to see Horikoshi goes with that. I'm very interested to see like how much more powerful Toya will become. I'm very interested to see how much more powerful Shoto will become because he realizes the gap between him and Toya. There's so many possibilities, bro.
Do you think his siblings, now knowing that Toya's alive, do you think his siblings will train now to see if they could be involved in this aspect, maybe to bring back Toya, their older brother? Like,
I don't care.
I don't care.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's honestly my answer.
I mean, I feel like, and I think Horikoshi knows that we don't care. We care about how they feel. They add to the emotional aspect of the story, not the we're here to fight with you aspect. No,
they don't need to fight.
And plus, remember, you have to be like an actual licensed hero to do work like that, and I don't think any of them are. So
Okay.
And like I could definitely see that, because I never can't shun away from the Hero Society or the pro heroes either, because as much as he wants to save his son, he has to do it under their law, their agreements and that sort of stuff, or else he will be classified as a vigilante, because you can't have a pro hero trying to save our number one our top villain kind of thing in that sort of way, even though he's your son relationship kind of thing. It's like,
you'd be surprised what a parent will do for their children.
Of course, no, it's very true, but like if he has to do it more shady in a way, if not big, or else he could like get himself into big trouble. That sort of way he gets
Like I
caught even
said,
more.
do not underestimate what a parent will do to save their child. That's all I'm gonna say
It's
about
true.
Endeavor and Toya.
It's true.
It just depends where that route will go, and I'm very curious about that. James, do you want to bring up something?
Yeah, I was gonna answer Pedro's question. So I don't think I do think that Shigaraki is his first body transfer. The whole thing with with All for One's like life, because you have to think about it this way. He lived, because I would see All for One as the same age, at around the same age range as All Might. So you have to think that he lived most of his life, and then because the doctor gave him part of his quirk, his life was expanded further than that. So I don't think he did any body transfers before Shigaraki, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
He was also like quirk harvesting, stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we go back to the lab, we also see literally all different type of quirks for over a whole circle in the laboratory. So like we know how much quirk harvesting there's been.
I mean, they did generations of quirk harvesting, and all that's been lost, which is crazy to me. But still,
and he was looking for specific quirks too to help prolong his like life and everything, his existence.
I mean, to prolong his life, but also to assist him in getting the other half of his quirk back.
Yeah. Oh, right. True. That too.
And dude, I'm telling you, like the only reason why All for One chose Shigaraki was because of that quirk. He's like, oh, this decay quirk can kill One for All. So if I take this, build him up, and then put my consciousness inside him, One for All cannot stop me.
Because he knew where his family line was. He's like, this kid could become a hero and be used against me. And
And another part of that, this is another reason where the Hero Society and this world has failed people like Shigaraki, because this is a huge X-Men thing. It's like, oh, you're ugly. Oh, your power, mutant power does this. So we hate you. And these people have had to live in the sewers, bro, simply because of the way they look, simply because they were disowned by their family because of the way their powers are. If Rogue didn't meet Professor X, who knows what would happen to her?
She could have been a straight up villain.
So this is the same thing with Shigaraki. If they actually took care of people, Shigaraki could have been saved. He had a good family. His grandmother was a great hero. He could have been saved, bro. But the Hero Society is what failed everyone. And to some degree, that's what makes All for One right. He's doing it the wrong way, but the Hero Society in this world is wrong. It's messed up. And he's proving that point to everyone, bro.
I mean, he's using that point to his advantage to do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
But like, I know what you're saying, though. I hear you, but like, oh man, this story is so good.
You're preaching to the choir, and it's perfect for that. I was gonna ask, what do you guys think? As now, this is conclusion of the arc overall, and this is like the last chapter of the year. I want to ask, what's your top 3 favorite moments of this war arc that finally came to a conclusion?
You put me on the spot, bro. I need time to think about that. Like,
I know this one where Deku says like, you look like you needed saving was actually a big point and highlight for me too, because it literally goes all the way back to the beginning of Deku always wanting to save people and homage and everything. And technically, this is the first time out loud Shigaraki has said, you look like someone you look like you needed help, because nobody was able to help Shigaraki, even though when he was by himself in the civilian eyes, people looked at him, shunned him away, did not want to help him that sort of way.
So what I want to say to that is the only person who would have noticed that look is Deku. Everybody else would have looked at him and been like, oh, I don't care, he's the villain. But Deku was the only person who could see that look on somebody's face and know.
Yeah. I will say definitively, one of my favorite moments of this entire arc is when Bakugo literally just rushes to save
Bakugo Rising. Heroes Rising.
I mean, that because I'm pretty sure it was the last chapter or the one before. He explains like he's never used his quirk like that to move that fast before, and it happened without him even thinking about it. So that was huge for me. That's definitely like one of my favorite moments from this entire arc.
My favorite moment of this arc, I want to say, is when Miracle was going through the hallway against all those nobles of high ends. She literally was sprinting and was getting stabbed, was getting shot, was getting pinned down, but she kept moving like a rabbit, and she can't. So like, I gotta go take this doctor down before he wakes this dude up. She kept going, she kept pushing. That chapter was amazing. The double spreads of that chapter, and also one of my other favorite moments, my favorite double spread was when Shigaraki woke up in a double spread of him on the cliff when he had to choose to go to All for One or his family grabbing onto him. Favorite double spread throughout this whole arc is amazing. What this year has given to us as a whole of this arc is amazing.
I would love for that to be a topic on the main show on Wednesday, like finding out like top 3, top 5 like moments from this arc. That would be really fun.
There's a lot.
I'd much rather do it then, because then we could talk about it at length.
Because
I need more time to like think about these.
Oh yeah, that'll lie, because we could definitely save that for the last 30 minutes. So in case people don't want to be spoiled, we could definitely say that
Absolutely.
for the last 30 minutes. So hey, for manga readers or anything, don't check out the last 30 minutes, because that's for, you know.
I mean, or we could just split it out into its own video. Period.
That too.
So,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
because we have the power to make whatever content we want. But my number one moment, I mean, y'all should know, is when no, I'm kidding. My boy Mirio getting his shine back. That made my whole life there was so much joy when that face popped up through the ground. I was like, my son! My son was back.
I was mad that I saw that leak, but I told Ray, yo, don't check no more. Ray, I know you're streaming right now. Don't go on Twitter, but you're gonna be happy with the chapter. Why? Like, your fair cat, like, all right, cool, no more. I'm like, let's see.
I'm so happy to see my son. Like, he's the image on my Discord, everything. That's my boy. So I was very happy. Twice. I was very happy. I mean, and that's a lot, but I could go into detail about like a lot of moments that I truly loved from this arc, because there's some really, really good ones. I would even go as far as to talk about Toga. Toga had some of my favorite moments from this arc, which is crazy.
She was exposed to the most incredible, and then the Dabi's death. I felt like. I'm sorry, twice death.
Twice probably my number 2 moment from the whole thing.
Well, technically, Dabi, the character itself, died. Now he's back to Toya. So it's
I didn't care about Dabi no way. So that's fine. Remember,
that was a good moment.
I didn't care about Dabi. I'm glad that Toya is alive.
it was a good Joker moment of him dancing and explaining and stuff. This monologue, that was actually really good too.
Oh man! So we had some real good stuff happen here.
One question actually about this chapter. So, what do you guys think about Mr. Compress? Is he gonna be dead also of this? Like, because
did you see his body, bro? He has half his body left. He's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, because if I'm correct, he didn't leave with the normals, or he did leave with them.
No, he like All for One said, you're losing your friend and Makia as like payment for you effing up so bad. Essentially, is what he's told him. So
yeah, I mean, Compress is already prepared to die. I mean, there's a chunk missing, dude. He has no ribs on that side. Mm-hmm. I'm sure his lung is gone.
Half his butt cheek is gone.
he's dead, bro.
He even says like, "I'm just the assistant. The main star is Shigaraki and Spinner."
He basically said, "I'm a sidekick. I'm a side character. I ain't important." He knew that he was a side character.
Because honestly, I would argue that his injury is worse than Night Eye's. And Night Eye died, so it's like he's dead, bro.
The exact words: "The curtain rises on the first and final escape artist performance of Mr. Compress."
He did, bro.
So yeah, after by the time for Shigaraki and Spinner and everything, it is dope that. Although Mr. Compress did us put Dabi in the scarf of Spinner, like he was smooth with it. I didn't notice that until this chapter.
Sleight of hand, bro. Magician at heart. He knows what he's doing, but like cool character, but he served his purpose.
So does that mean if he dies, then it just got reappear, like no longer compressed?
I think there's a time limit that could be on.
Okay,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
there's a time limit.
But if they do save him, I'll be fine with that. That's okay. But if he dies, I'm also fine with him dying. I feel like he had a great moment. I like Compress, but it's like he didn't really give us a whole much reason to be like, oh no, Compress is dead. We ain't got to feel like that, like we did with Twice, because we love Twice.
Yeah, we did. And I'm curious to know is that how they're gonna take a market to what jail cell, like what jail cell is gonna be big enough for Maki to hold him like and everything like that would
Hardly
be
They
cool.
have to have some
I'm
kind
about
of
to say they had
bunker
something.
or
I'm pretty
something.
like remember how they remember the first big no moon that they locked up. So I mean, like they got stuff for
That's
them.
true. That's true.
So
That's true, yeah.
And they have to sedate him every single time. They can't let him.
Because I mean,
wake up.
Makia isn't this big all the time anyway.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna get that sedative made from Momo because like they're gonna be like, oh, it worked. So here, let's make it and perfect it so we can keep him knocked out.
Keep making it just endless supply of it.
I don't even
Keep
think
him
they need
knocked
this. They just need a certain amount, and they can. I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. But
Yeah,
Merc
Mercenary
asks,
brings up a really good point. Like,
Yeah.
where do we go with Toga from here? Like, when do we see her get back to the league? What's gonna happen with the Liberation Front? Like, what's gonna happen with them, Redestro? Like,
so with Toga, I don't know where she's gonna end up, and I'm okay with that. Like I,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want her to be this wild card because that's
Mhm.
what truly to me what she is. Toga
Yeah.
is a wild card. She can help either side if she chooses to. We saw her crying. It could be because how she felt about the villains. We don't know. Like I'm not sure because like maybe she was like, well, I don't know how would the villains react to me, you know, being on this side if things were flipped. Would they kill me or would they try and save me? I don't know. I'm really curious to see how that works. But the Liberation Front, I feel like there are gonna be enough key people to get away that they'll be fine. Like if the whole Liberation Front was like captured, I don't know how I'd feel about that.
And plus
Including
also-
Redestro.
Yeah, because I think Redestro escaped because we know when Phantom and them and Dark Shadow and them when they got out because of that whole building trying to fall down in there, I think
Mhm.
they escaped. Redestro and a few of the other commanders. So I think they have the time to be out. Who
'Cause
knows if
Makia
they have?
he did damage. He literally led the way for a whole group of them anyway. So and
Yeah.
remember the group that actually beat up Midnight too? Like I mean, you know for sure they kind of got away as well.
That is
too.
the one character I am concerned about their fate. I am still of the belief that Midnight has been captured.
I think so too.
Oh yeah, you did say that last week as well. So that could be true because
I'm worried about Midnight.
Toga also needs to see Deku as well. That's also the one person she wanted to speak to because she said that
I agree with that.
she needs to speak to Ochaku and to Deku to see what they believe
What
a hero
what
is.
if in the hospital stay?
That's what's gonna happen.
Deku can heal. Just Toga's coming in. Whatever Deku's answer
I imagine her sneaking in the form of a nurse,
Yeah,
kind of
yes.
like like Joker in the Dark Knight because he's a fan of comics. Exactly. He's gonna show up and she's gonna ask him that question, and he's gonna give her the answer that she wants, and then she's gonna leave, and then we're gonna see what she becomes because I'm really curious to see what happens.
Yeah,
I
that'd
would
be a
love
cool
that,
moment
yes.
too. So I want to also bring up the last item in Shigaraki's pocket was the same hand that he always had for his face, and he still has the bullets, right? The quark destroying bullets.
mean,
I don't
Didn't
remember.
he
I don't
only-
remember. I don't remember how many he has left because he used.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Did he use? one
Yeah,
or
I
two?
mean, because
He
there
used
was
two.
only 2 good ones left, and he used both.
Because
He shot
Bakugo,
both of them.
Yeah, Bakugo blew up one, and then he hit Aizawa with one, and he cut off his leg.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was a third one.
Yeah,
I don't think so, but I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't- yeah.
Horikoshi can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, that's the last hand that still survived, and it really woke up Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because he said that when he gets that type of sensation, he feels that he's closer to family, but he also hates it. So it's that type of sensation.
But he also
that feels.
likes it for some reason too.
It's a mix. Is a
Because
mix
that's
of
what
love and
his
hate.
power comes from. His hate fuels him.
Mhm.
So
I'm really curious to see what the Doctor will do with those quirk destroying bullets in the future. Like, how do they augment them to be more like reliable, make them like better weapons? Like, what is he
I
going to do?
think he turns it into a quirk.
Boom.
I literally
Yes.
think that's what he's gonna do. That makes it way more reliable. I think he turns it into a quirk.
So, did you guys think that Doctor knew about All for One being that symbiote to take
Hell
over
yeah.
Shigaraki's goal? And
Hell yeah, he
he knew
did.
the
Well,
end
yeah.
process goal.
Dude, that was All for One's goal since the beginning. This chapter proved it to me
Okay.
that was
It just-
All for One's goal.
But
since-
that's, I
since
was
the
wondering
beginning.
if the Doctor knew too, kind of thing, like giving him the original quirk and stuff like that.
Of course,
too.
the Doctor is All for One's number 2. The Doctor
Mhm.
has to know all of the information to pull off all of these things. That's what I think, anyway.
Okay.
Oh, I agree. He knows everything, so he must have known what was
even
going
the
on. for
even
sure.
the second guessing and all that stuff like that. I just wanted
And
to
the
know if
Doctor
he
is
knew for sure.
completely devoted. I don't think he would talk even under torture. I don't think he would talk
Yeah.
anyway. because he knows if he did talk, it would be much worse for him if All for One got his hands on
I
him.
mean,
So,
he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't. Yeah.
And we still don't know if he either escaped from President Mike, or is he running, or escape, or he got captured. We don't know, because all we know is a panel like we saw last week. That is a panel of President Mike running. We don't know if any type of scenario if he escaped or not.
yeah, I'm with Ray, man. I think that face from President Mike is him like trying to run after a Nomu that
Mhm.
caught the doctor. That's what I think, man.
Because
But we'll see.
remember, he's a doctor. He might have other nomos in his pockets that he was waiting for the right moment for one nomos to escape from his pockets and to help him escape. Because remember, he had the little one with some type of Jordans. So those type of things could be happening, that he has other little small nomos to help him escape. So it could be possible before that. One
So he
question-
loses his friends, and he's losing the doctor as well, and he blames all for Shigaraki, but it's all for his sake.
Last question I saw there is that, yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of focus the rest of 1A now, and then Deku out of commission.
What?
I don't. I mean, I do think Deku's going to be out of commission for a while, but I mean,
Yes. Yeah, Midnight was shown on the floor in 294, but
Where?
on like the first page of 294.
I mean, I don't think that's an indicator that she's dead, though.
she's
Yeah.
not dead. No,
She's just
but
on the floor, and there's some people in the background. That's what it shows, that some people could
Yeah.
be walking up to her.
Because I mean, Dreamwalker, when you say like focus on the rest of 1A, like what characters would you like to see Horikoshi put more focus on? Because to your point, I think this would be a great opportunity to at least give a couple chapters from Shoto's perspective
Yes.
on all of this. But I don't know. Because I mean, with Eri, we know that Eri can just reverse Deku's hands, so it's like, why not just do that and push Deku back into the front of the story? So, like, give me a little bit more of what you mean. Like, what characters from 1A would you like to see get some more like shine within this like aftermath arc, if you will?
It just depends where it goes with the story and the characters for that. So I'm really curious for where it might lead to next year within the next 48 chapters or so. I'm very happy to see what 2020 has in store for my hero, and where it might lead to for the future of this epilogue next month.
Mercenary brings up a great point. I definitely think that more villains are going to come out of the woodwork, because look at what happened when Shigaraki came on the scene for the first time.
They have
Look
the
at what
advantage now.
happened- Yeah, look at what happened when Stain came on the scene for the first time. It made more villains uprise and be like, hey, I don't have to stand in the shadows. I can stand up for myself with this group of people that wants to fight this hero association crap as much as I do.
So I don't think that it's just in Japan though.
Oh,
think
definitely
I
not.
think it's world. They see this worldwide, and
Hell
this
yeah.
this starts like an uprising everywhere.
Hell yeah.
And this is where our theory we said last week, that we will see the United Nations Society of Heroes coming together and say, "Yo, Japan, what's going on here?" And now that's happening in United States, South America, Russia, other countries that hope that we could also see
Dude,
and lead up to.
All for One is a global threat, bro. If with him using Shigaraki, he can level entire states, bro,
He could basically annihilate half of Japan by himself.
by
He could-
himself. So they have to step in.
If he ever came to Manhattan, he could literally just put his hand down and sink that whole city down. He could literally become like an opponent that you don't want to mess with, because
I mean, he already is.
No, but I'm
Like-
saying, like, if he comes to the States or other countries where people need to worry now, like, yo, he has a new body and more quirks and a healthier body, we are in trouble.
I mean, I would say that he has the same amount of quirks, but it's just like now that he has a near perfect body for what he wanted in the first place. Yeah, y'all got a real issue. I mean, the only new quirk he has is decay, and that's the one that's real bad.
Yeah, he has the same 14 quirks that the original.
Ooh-wee. I am concerned about him with decay though. That's the one.
Yes.
Like I'm worried about that, because if he can use decay with any of his other quirks, boy, oh man, y'all in trouble. Imagine if you combine decay with the shockwave quirk.
I was just gonna say the air cannon. Like that would be insane. Oh my god. Like, could you imagine, like, without touching something, he finds a way to use air cannon to push the decay.
That's what I'm saying.
against someone
That'd be
else.
wow.
That's what I'm saying.
He could literally disintegrate someone with a gust of wind. That would be insane, bro.
That's what I'm worried about.
Oh
So-
man. Oh man.
So, guys, are we all good? Any last thoughts of the theories next year? Overall thoughts about this chapter, the
So,
arc?
so
How you guys-
Konoyaro, they did nuke him. They sent All Might after him, and he basically killed him, but he didn't. That was them. That was them literally nuking him. Was them sending All Might after him?
Yeah.
A full powered All Might against him in that fight. Basically, and you saw what happened to All Might, but you saw what happened to All For One was way worse. So, I mean, they tried, didn't work.
I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with that. But overall, any thoughts? Last thoughts?
I'm very
Japan has
excited.
been
Go ahead, Sam.
Paradigm. I said Japan has been paradigm shift right now, and especially that last panel. We see everything destruction.
I mean,
Go
about to say Japan has now hit a point of no return with this, and now they have to do something. Something drastic has to happen because now they see the threat has revealed itself completely now, and it's like, all right, what's happening? What we gonna do?
It'd be
Yeah,
worth
like,
what we gotta do, what you gotta do.
Yeah, I love this last page of this chapter. Like, it's just a city in absolute ruins.
Yep.
And it just shows the point, like, what is this aftermath arc going to be? Because the media is going to tear the hero society apart.
They
They're
better.
just gonna put
They
cameras
better.
on all of this damage, and it's just like, hey, what are these heroes for if they can't fix this problem? What's going on? So I'm just as excited for this aftermath as I am for how this arc turned out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so
100%.
like there's gonna be a lot of exposition in this next arc, and I'm okay
Needs
with
to
that
be.
because like a lot of questions need to be answered. A lot of people need to talk.
Who's
A
dead?
lot of
Who's
people-
alive?
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. At this point, like I care, but it's not really high on my
But,
list
like,
about who's dead and who's alive at this point
who
because
cares
we know
about
we know that the top 10 has been absolutely demolished. So like
Mhm.
that was but now it's like, how do we go from here? Who do we know that we can count on to help us if something else big happens here soon? Because they ain't got no firepower for that now. Literally, Endeavor is down. So, and I think that Endeavor might have crippled himself by using too much fire.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Is what I'm worried about. If he burned his lungs too much,
Oh,
he might be in trouble.
What happened
Uh,
if he's like the dude from Fire Force?
That's what I'm thinking about. Well, no, I think it might be internal. Like I feel like he might have.
Oh yeah, like internal, yeah, like
Yeah,
or
mhm.
like shoulders or
Mhm,
something like
mhm.
inside his lungs where he can't breathe.
Right.
Like when he fights now.
So this is where the kids really do have to step up, and that's what I think that's the point of this.
And
So-
that's
not
why.
not saying that I think this is gonna happen, but what is the chance of like the UA Big Three joining the top 10 like heroes
Ah.
at some point in this next arc?
I
Like,
think
what do you guys think of
graduation?
that?
I think at this point, I think they are graduating. I feel like this is
This is
cementing
March.
that.
This is still spring. Like
I
they're
feel like
about to.
this is cementing that. So Mirio will be the number one hero for a while. And then so Nejire and our boy Sun Eater. Like I feel
mean,
like
you
that
think
happens.
they'll give it to him over Best Jeanist?
Yes.
It would also reveal like
Okay.
other heroes too from other schools graduate too
Mhm.
as well.
Exactly. So like a lot of these big classes are about to graduate. Like this was the end of
Yeah.
the semester, and
And
so they're
this-
graduating.
It'd be very
100%.
hard to take up that new mantle though.
Mhm.
After graduation, you just become the whole top
But
heroes. And stuff.
we've talked about this before. I think that I don't think the hero ranking is a thing unless it is, which I could understand. No one to keep some kind of normalcy.
Mhm.
To
I want
establish.
faith, or
I do
faith
too.
in people in the society also to help them believe that there's still people protecting and saving us.
So
over
this
rain.
is-
The age of the celebrity hero needs to go away. It
Well,
needs to
I
be
100%
destroyed.
agree.
I hate it. I
I
hate
do
it.
too. I agree,
But-
and I feel like that's the point of this whole thing. So that's why I'm like, yeah, maybe they make them, but I feel like they see them as like heroes, and they go and establish their agencies while they're like trying to get help with what else is going on because there's a
Wow.
lot happening now.
I'm also curious because of what you guys brought up that once Miro, Sun Eater, and Renijire, all the heroes that we could get introduced from other schools and everything, they Hori could introduce to us other characters in their same age rank to where the schools that we haven't been introduced. Because remember of the pro license exam, we saw other students from different schools. Those students could
Exactly.
come back
I
too.
think that was the point of making that provisioning exam
Mhm.
like a worldwide thing where all heroes come to this one
Mhm.
event to get their license. I think that was the entryway into introducing these other heroes into
That's
the
smart.
society after school.
I mean, and not just that, but also for the people paying attention to understand, hey, it's not just Japan.
Right.
And plus,
You
not
know?
just UA as well. It's just other schools. It's
Exactly.
not
There are
big
other
and popular
schools
as UA.
outside of UA. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, because the guy with the wind quirk, I think with the
I
right
can't wait.
training,
I can't wait to see him come back.
yeah,
I
with
can't
the
wait.
right training,
He's
he has
powerful
the
dude.
potential to be amazing.
I mean, even at the level he was at the provision, like dude, if he has gotten stronger since then,
Which I'm sure he has, because it's
Yes.
been a while. It's
Think
been like 8-9 months at this
think
point.
about how strong that dude is. I guarantee you, he's a character that we get to see kind of full time going forward because he was a fantastic character.
Yeah.
It'll be real nice to see.
Yeah. Sam, any last thoughts as well for that, or you're good?
I think I'm good. I like to talk more once we do like a whole top moments kind of thing afterwards when we have everything ready set up. Maybe we do our
Cool.
top 20 characters because this entire arc literally changed the whole entire scale of our best of our top
half
20.
the top 20 characters died, so I ain't worried about it.
Exactly.
But
They're only remember in name now. I feel like they're gonna have a whole.
They will have a
monument.
memorial. There will be a
Memorial
memorial
kind of
monument.
thing
Yep,
for them.
I agree. There will be.
all right, guys. So if you guys are curious about that, definitely check and tune in for the Wednesday podcast. And if you guys can't check in, what I might do is cut up the episode of that segment and have it out for the Sunday coverage. So instead that we don't get a new manga chapter, you guys get a new My Hero segment from the Wednesday show. So definitely, guys, check that out for sure. Like, comment, subscribe, and press everything that you guys want to tell us in the review. Check the Discord and everything linked down below, or where to find James, Ray, myself, and Sam. See you guys on the next one.
Peace.